It's that time again. It's time to draw a series to a close. But don't worry, you already know that I've got something big and exciting brewing. So until then, it's time to give Beachy Point the final touches it needs in places you didn't know it needed it. Sounds a bit handsy, that, doesn't it? Alright, you lot, it's the last episode of Beachy Point here in Planet Coaster. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. And yeah, it's that time of the series once again. The time when A, the park stutters because we've packed it full of too much stuff. And B, we've got many gaps that need filling because all of those tomorrow me problems are today me problems. So, it's also my birthday episode, by the way. This is going to be a short one. We don't have a lot to do, but there's enough to do an episode, not enough to do it all off camera. This is what we did in the last week's episode, and I've come back to it, and I still love it. I love it, I love it. I love it. I actually really like the profiling of this corkscrew. Like, it's just it's the best custom corkscrew I've ever done. So let's have a look at what I need to do in this week's episode, because like I say, there's a lot of touching up and a lot of stuff that I need to do. I need to get this back area filled out with like maintenance area stuff, but I need to work out how that's gonna go with all of the sea and whatever down here. I have some tidying up in this general region that I need to do, most namely the floating bins need to be sorted because that's a bit of a mess. We've got this area down here that I said I was deliberately leaving in episode 1 because this also is going to be a bit of a maintenance area, so I need to work out how that's going to be. And then of course we've got some shops that are missing from here. I need to do all of the perimeter fences. I've got some tidying up that I need to do in this kind of area. Again, there was lots that I said I needed to play out, so I've now played it out, and I need to sort all of this stuff. And of course, I need to sort out this corner here because there's lots of missing things. I might also just do some general tidying up of the the map, and I've only just realised that since episode 1, this has had no back. So we might need to sort that one out before I get it onto the workshop for you. And as I said, general like tidying up and tweaks and stuff that's going to go on. But yeah, this is ultimately Beachy Point from the top. So there's only going to be one cut this week, and it's going to be cut to done. So I'll see you in a minute. I mean, you'd be forgiven for thinking that not much has changed in this view, but 3 days I've been at this. 3 of them. It turns out I'm quite a sloppy worker. I needed to correct so much stuff. But it's okay because Beachy Point is now completely done. And I am so chuffed with how this has turned out. I've managed to squeeze so much more into this park than I ever thought I was going to. I thought this was going to be a challenge for space. And at one point over here, it really was, but actually, it's not been at all. What I do love is the fact I've got this pier that's a complete dividing line, and it's a dividing line between all of this looser, less dense, but really tall stuff. The area is probably newer, it's probably a little bit less grown and all that usual stuff, versus the not so tall, but tightly packed stuff of the left hand side, like maybe the original park, if you like. I don't know what the law would be, but yeah, I love it. Like, this park has just come to life. It's got its own personality. Right, so let's stop waffling and let's actually start showing the stuff that I've done, shall we? So down here we've got ourselves a pizza place. I wanted to keep this really loosely themed. This is taken very much the inspiration for this is very much taken from Blackpool and what's outside of Blackpool Pleasure Beach, right? So they've got restaurants and whatever all along the seafront. Inside here, I just wanted to keep it really simple. I didn't want to go to a OTT, partly because I wanted the detail to be saved for inside the park, and partly because I'm done. Like, I've got no more inspiration left, so I'm just done. But what I have done is all of the usual stuff that you find, right? So I've got all the bins and all the recycle points and whatever along here, and I've just thrown a couple of posters and stuff up, and it's all good. And then on the outside, again, I've just kept this nice and simple. It's actually consistent with the rest of the town, so I quite like it. You know, it is what it is. And then this bit here, this is actually the front end of a maintenance shed. So this is how it looks from the street, and then this is how it looks from the back as a maintenance shed. And it feels like this is what the park would do. I'm alright with this, you know. I haven't done the inside because I needed to clip stuff through walls and whatever to make stuff work. So there's no detailing on the inside here. But on the outside, I have just kitted it out with some random stuff, you know. Rando Mando, Hot Dog Squad and marshmallows. They're not even like lined up or anything. It is just a bit of a frontage that the park would put in, and they would just call it done. And that's it. And then on the back end, what I've now done is started to put some of the clutter and whatever back in, finished off all of the clutter, and it's now an actual proper maintenance area. And it feels right now. It feels decent. This is the new. It's not really new. It's been in a couple of episodes, right? But this is the park perimeter fence. So it's now all the way around, and it was an absolute nightmare to do. As much of a nightmare as you can possibly imagine, but it's all good. I've then just done all of the gardening stuff in this area too. So again, just a couple of sheds and a couple of like loose warehouses and whatever just inside here. It's visible from the park exit, or from the outside of the park, should I say. And that's all right. That's fine. Blackpool's is, in fact, Blackpool's was noticeable from most of the rides. Like if you went on the monorail, you went through the maintenance area. So, you know, at least we're making an effort to hide it with a wall. But what I have done, again, clutter and whatever inside here. And I have also then just put in like a pathway that comes through here. I was going to tarmac it, you know, but I thought, no, this might just be one of those dirt tracks that goes from like one maintenance area to the other. And they've just cut through as time's gone by. And then I did say in episode 1 I was going to put a shed and stuff for the gardening bits in here. Well, that's exactly what I've done. There is the gardening shed, and yeah, I'm all right with that. I quite like it. So let me show you around the rest of the park, and let's do the no, actually, let's go over here. Like, let's just mess around with all the big changes. So here's the other maintenance area. So again, this is just like a park like this would put their maintenance areas wherever they can. It doesn't matter that this is by the beach. It doesn't matter that it's going to have like waves crashing up against it and whatever, because it's a maintenance area. So this sort of stuff can get damaged, and it's, you know, it's not desirable, but it's okay. So this is like a storage part for all of the crap that this park would have pulled together. You've got all the lawnmowers in here. You've got all the vans. You've got all of the shipping containers. How they got here, I have no idea, other than this road here. But they would have just found a way of getting them there, and it's like a storage area for the park. Right, now let's show you around everywhere, because this is the entrance area. I've just done some real light touches in this area. Like I say, I wanted to tidy up some of the stuff. You know, like, for example, some of these beams along here, they were a bit straggly. And then some of the stuff along here, we had clipping going on, and we had all sorts of bits. So I've now just gone along and tidied them up. If I didn't point them out, I doubt you'd even notice that I'd even done it, right? But it's just stuff that, when I look at it, I think, no, it's bugging me. You know, like this idea of I can't solve all of the Z fighting. I can't do it. You just have to deal with it. But there are some things you can do, like this bit. It needed me just to remove the building and push it back ever so slightly, and it just tidies it off just quite nicely. Like I say, you don't need to go OTT. I know people have torn me apart because of my Z fighting before, but just whatever. This is about as much effort as I wanted. And then I have just repositioned ever so slightly some of these flower beds. Again, if I didn't point it out, you wouldn't even notice it, because they're pretty much in the same place, but it's all fine. And then along here, again, I've just repositioned some of these awnings and whatever, just to, you know, now I know what the area feels like. It just needed a little bit of TLC, you know, those fine details. So Firebird, I've not touched. I was always happy with this. Absolutely love Firebird to bits. Absolutely love it. The Flight of Fan, I don't know what we call it. What? This needed a little bit of TLC as well, so it needed some signs, and it needed just some changes to the flower beds and whatever, just to, you know, make it all good. Didn't change the Woodie. This I was always happy with. This has been in since day one, so yeah, it's all good. Haven't touched the log flume either. What I have done is, again, just a little bit of touching up work along here. There was just some of the beams I wasn't quite happy with, and some of the poking through. Like I say, if I didn't point it out, you wouldn't see it. But this is now all like slightly tidier, and it's now just making a little bit more sense. Not touched the Star Ride, but this area here, I did start to do quite a bit of work on this one. This is why it took 3 days. I decided in my stupidity that I wanted to move the insanity because it didn't feel right sitting in the middle here. So what I thought was, oh, I could put it up against the queue line here, and no. It's the short answer. I didn't even keep the save file with it in, so I can't even put like a screenshot or whatever in. I just decided no, and put it back, reloaded the old file, and be done with it. So over in the invert, yeah, just stuff. The bins, I'm going to show you. The bins are no longer floating. I did want to keep one in just for the memes, but no. I decided I couldn't do it. And then just a lot of touching up in this area as well. Just again, it's all tidying stuff, right? It's all just bits and pieces that you would have. Like for example, at the back here, I'd left all of this just completely empty and completely blank because I needed to put the wall in. Well, now the wall was in, it needed all tidying up, so that's what I've done. All of this down here has all been tidied up, and then where it's bare by design. It's bare deliberately. You know, like all of this stuff in here, deliberately done that way because it's supposed to be brand new. Likewise, all along here, it's all tidied up and touched up. This bit along here needed some work. I'd forgotten to put some of the bushes in, and some of the pebbles didn't quite reach the wall, and all of that sort of stuff. But it's now looking good. I mean, it's looking really good. In fact, I love it. Absolutely love it. And then coming over this way, the touching up of the area is now also done. I have actually put in some ride music for Devil. I didn't realise I hadn't put the ride music in. And then just lots of, like, as I said, just detail work. It's just detailing. That's all it is. Didn't do anything to the hyper. That was all good. And at least ours is open. Ours makes it around the circuit. And then down, oh man, and then down here the wall is in, and I've just put some more foliage and whatever inside here. Now, to answer the question, by the way, because I know that I've been talking for 10 minutes and I've not taught you anything new, and this episode needs to have its USP. This episode needs to have its thing that teaches you something new. So the perimeter fence is a wall, and where there's a coaster, a second fence, and that's because you don't really want to have your exterior wall and your area separation fence being the same thing, right? So I could just have this wall, just slap on the don't die signs and happy days, but people might still climb over. It's still a risk. So what you do is you have two fences, or maybe even three. Sometimes it's three, but you have two fences that are just far enough apart from each other that you can't jump the two fences in one go, and you make it as difficult as you can to jump one and then the other. So for example, this one has got all of this foliage in this area. And that's because if you were to jump this wall, you'd end up in the bushes. You wouldn't be able to get out. And let's call your Geo Wizard doing a straight line mission. In which case, fill your boots. But yeah, so then you have the second fence along here, and that's like your double barrier. Whereas inside the park, you just have the one. So there you go. The more you know. Now, I keep also promising to do this, and I keep forgetting to do it. So I'm going to show you the park at night. There you go. There's the park at night. So we've got ourselves all of the lift hill lights and stuff, and the catwalk lights and whatever are all in. This is like a brightly lit area. Devil's got its red lights that point up, and its red lights in the station, and all of the usual stuff. All of the buildings inside, they've all got lights, and then it's just lots of like area and accent lighting that's going on. So Firebird's got all of its lighting. Love this chair swing with its lighting. All of this bits down here. Then of course you've got all the lighting that goes on inside the. It's not a log flume, is it? But it's we're calling it a log flume. And then you've got all of the green lighting for the invert and all of the other stuff. So yeah, this is it. I do, however, love this bit. Like, I'd completely forgotten I'd done all of this lighting package. I don't even know if I've shown you. But, yes. Yes. And this is what the park looks like at night from the top. It's all done. It's all perfect. It's all brilliant. And I love it. Guys, I don't know why I'm talking so high. Let's lower the voice. No, guys, thank you so much for getting to the end of the episode. I really do appreciate it. And getting to the end of this series. We're going to do a Thought Park series next. We know that already. I'm going to throw some votes out on the community tab so you guys can actually decide what coasters are going into the park, because I want this to be controlled by you, so that's coming up. We're going to go for a tour of the park next week. I cannot wait to show you from peep level, because it even blew my mind when I did the tour, so I can't wait. But until we speak again, have an awesome week. I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye!